Hi, today I want to show you how you can prompt engineer custom functions inside of Nordcraft with the help of AI. Now, let's take a look what makes a good prompt and how we get started with this exciting topic. First of all, to write a good prompt, we need to ask ourselves the first question. What is the goal? What are we trying to do? For example, we're going to try to provide a YouTube video ID and we want to get the thumbnail of that video. Now, the second thing will be how does it need to work? It would probably need to scrape certain parts of the video or use some existing patterns that it knows or can find on the internet to construct based on the thumbnail, based on the video ID, the thumbnail URL. It will probably have to figure that out because I do not have all that information, but AI does have access to the internet. And then 3, what is the input? The input will be, for example, our YouTube video ID. What output do you need? The output would be the thumbnail URL, that is a valid URL, HTTPS format, that we can use to set the image based on a YouTube video ID. Let's take a look at this. Now, let's go to Claude and let's start the prompt. First is goal. And now we also need to make sure that because we are building this within Nordcraft and it's a proprietary programming system, we need to make sure that it returns the code with a return statement and it doesn't use formulas, and we're writing this in vanilla JavaScript, which is the JavaScript that can run on the browser, and it doesn't build Node.js, for example, which is the JavaScript that you would run on the backend. So the goal is I need a custom JS code snippet. I'm going to say vanilla JS for front end. I need a custom JS snippet, vanilla JS for front end, to get the YouTube video thumbnail URL based on the video ID. There you go. And then the how will be how it would need to take the video ID and based on patterns that the code knows, get the matching thumbnail URL that is valid HTTPS : //. Perfect. Then input would need to be YouTube video ID like, and then I'm going to put the example ID here. Thank God I have a YouTube video available here that I posted. So let's go back to Claude and put that inside of here, and then output, that will be HTTPS : // thumbnail image URL, and let's send that. Perfect. So now it's going to create that code and we're going to take a look at how this nicely works together. So as you can see, the AI is trying to come up with some things that was in a previous chat, so I wanted to forget essentially everything. But it looks good so far. That is pretty nice. We can get all YouTube thumbnails and we can lock them. But I want to say make the code, simpler, because when you ask AI to just do the code for you, and I forgot that, it always wants to do as much functions as possible. And we don't want that because Nordcraft by default wraps the thing already in a function. So make the code simple, no functions. I just need linear vanilla JS. So we want to emphasize that it just does a minimal solution for this. So let's have it redo that, and this is how it should look. It shouldn't wrap things into unnecessary things. Now, this is actually quite simple what it does. We could probably do this ourselves, but sometimes you don't know how to do that unless you ask AI. So we could now copy this, and you see it does console log it. So we need to make sure to say I use a proprietary custom NoCode tool that requires return statements. There you go. Now for this video, I had to come up with something that I would need custom code to do, because I probably could just build it like natively in Nordcraft, but you know, otherwise this video wouldn't exist. So we have to come up with something, even though it's quite simple and we could do this in a normal function, but you know, in a formula, but we'll just do a custom formula out of that. Let's copy that. Beautiful. So now I'm going to create a custom formula inside of Nordcraft. So I'm going to say YouTube video thumbnail, YouTube video thumbnail. And I'm going to go convert to custom code. And then inside of this function, that because it already wraps it inside of a function, I'm just going to paste the code. Perfect. And now the video ID will need to be dynamic. So we will have an argument here of video. Let's do video. And that will be type string. So now I can go inside of here and I can do args.video. And this is how I get this argument, this input for this custom code. The argument is the input for the custom code inside of this code here that was written by AI. And then we need to, if we want to get it out of the function, we will need to use the return to get it out of there, right? So we need to run a return statement by writing return. And then I can give it a description. I can say get YouTube thumbnail based on video ID. There you go. And now I'm going to go on my homepage and now we can use this. So what we could do is we could add an input inside of here. Now I have an input. Let's also set the color so we can see everything. There you go. And let's go to the text. Let's make that black. There you go. So I got my input here. We probably also want to add some border to the input so we can see it. There you go. And now I can just add an image inside of here. Beautiful. Let's give that image some width. Let's do 25 rem by 25 rem. There you go. Perfect. So now we have the image inside of here. And now we are just going to create a variable where we can put the video ID in here. So variable video ID, that'll start out empty. And we're going to go on input. And then the input will be linked with the variable. And I will go inside of this image here and I will set the source. And now the source will use our custom coded formula where I'm just going to provide the video ID. So there you go. Right now, it gives us the empty thumbnail because it doesn't exist. And we probably also want to remove the height to make it responsive. But now I can go to my YouTube video here and get the video ID just like that. And I can go on this input and look at that. Just based on the video ID, I'm getting the thumbnail URL. And yeah, and I can set it as an image with the help of a little bit of custom code. Now we can go in there and customize the code a little bit to make it higher quality. Let's see, let's copy this whole code here and let's have the AI adjust the code to make it high quality. I need the best quality. Also keep the code structure, because we wanted to keep the structure as is. I'm using a NoCode tool with a proprietary way of needing the code to be formatted. There you go. Let's change the spelling for proprietary and let's send that. It's important that you mention that you're using a proprietary system, otherwise it tries to create defaults and make up its own stuff and all that. So let's copy this and it keeps it in that structure because we're mentioning keep the proprietary system happening. And now as you can see, if I take my YouTube video ID just like that and I am going to put it in this input here, we're getting the high quality one. Beautiful. And this is how you can use custom code to make formulas. Now, you can also do them manually, because by looking at the formula, once you have some understanding in how to work with Nordcraft, you can probably understand that you could just do a concatenate to do the same thing, right? But sometimes having the AI generate some custom code to speed things up can be also one way of doing it, because at the end of the day, you're doing the same. But you know, once you look at the code and once you see how they actually do it, you can always convert that to be a custom formula within their native ecosystem. So what I could also do is I could take a look, oh, that's how they do it, gotcha. And I could copy this URL here, right? And I could create a new formula that's YouTube thumbnail, YouTube, let's do YouTube image, let's call that YouTube image. And I will just make this a native formula by doing the concatenate, putting this inside of here, and then let's go in here, right? And I would need to now go to copy the last part, put it inside of here, then remove the video ID that is templated text inside of here, right? And then I would create an argument here for video, and then I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I can go in here and link that with the argument of the video ID, put it in the middle, and get the same thing going. So creating this custom code function is actually helping us understand how it works. And then we can say, actually, we can make this custom code function be our legacy, because now I understand it. I can just replace it to the one that's natively built, and it will work the same. Right now we're using the native one. I can copy the video ID as well. So once you understand how some of those custom code is structured by the AI, then you can always turn it into a native one and replace it and work more within their ecosystem. But you don't have to start with that. You can always start with AI's help and then migrate things over just to get started and to get some progress happening. So I hope that this helps you in understanding how you can use AI to speed things up and also to learn how to build such formulas and functions. And yeah, I can't wait to see you in our further videos. And if you want to learn more about building your application in Nordcraft and you need some help, definitely take a look at NoCodeProCode.com. I would love to help you build your application inside of my community, inside of our daily office hours. Thank you so much for watching, and regardless of if you join or not, I can't wait to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.